Hi, I'm Pauline Frechette, aka Raven Kane, and you're watching me on The Red Booth Show.
Hi, welcome to The Red Booth Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Q. On tonight's episode, I have Raven Kane, aka Pauline Frechette. She has an amazing history as a rock and roll performer, as well as a classical and jazz performer, and she's been charting on the billboards, and she has new stuff coming out. She has Paul McCartney albums. You wouldn't even believe it. You have to come and check out our interview. So, hi, Pauline.
Hi.
AKA Raven.
That's right. Gotta have a nickname.
I know. Well, this is really cool because you kind of have a double life as a musician. You have the Raven Kane going all the way back to the 80s where you rocked out. And
that's right.
And then also Pauline Frechette, which is obviously your actual name, your real name, where you've been doing classical jazz music and reaching sort of epic heights as an artist in both regards, I would say.
That's right. Well, it's interesting because my real name is Pauline Frechette, and I grew up in the Midwest and playing violin. My father was a musician. My great-grandfather founded the Quebec Symphony. My parents are French-Canadian. And
wow, do you speak French-Canadian?
I speak French, yes. Je suis française.
Wow.
So I started out playing violin in the Youth Symphony and classical piano, and then I went into Broadway kind of things, Sound of Music, Carousel, so forth. And
can you sing The Hills Are Alive?
I was one of the kids. And then from there, I changed my name to Raven Kane. I always liked to have a nickname, and my friends actually named me when I went into rock and roll in the 80s, so.
Really?
Sat around and said, oh, you need a rock name. So they called me Raven Kane, like Raisin Kane. And
nice.
so I did a really rocked out career there for a while. So, yeah.
Like what? Tell us some of the cool facts from that rock and roll time period.
Oh, I had a group called Vogue 2000, and that was a lot of fun. It was me and another girl, Betty Ross. She played all the keyboards and had the big hair and the tight pants and the jacket, and I was like very tough, lots of makeup, and it was really fun. And we were very theatrical. I'm a big David Bowie fan, a big Patti Smith fan, so, and I write all my lyrics and stuff, so it's very kind of theatrical rock, yeah. And then I had a whole career with, I sang backup for, and duets with Neil Diamond, and then a lot of different albums, and sang with Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton and Cher and
what?
Paul McCartney, Leonard Cohen. I know it goes on and on.
Leonard Cohen too.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna do this. See, which one do I even ask you about? I don't even. The interviewer overload. Okay.
But that was my yeah.
So Cher. What's Cher like?
Well, she's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, she's just, I like it, and Dolly Parton are also, they're very strong women.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a strong woman. I like strong women, and they're really fun, and they know what,
Me too, I like it.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, don't mess with me, it's just like, I know what I want, and, well, that's why they're so brilliant, I have tons of admiration for these women. They're just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, even to this day, they're still, out there performing and really rocking it still.
I know, I like it.
It's amazing.
So then when I went back into writing more classical music, which is my roots, I said, I think I'm going to take back my real name, Pauline Frechette. And so I have both careers. I just worked on Paul McCartney's last album a couple months ago. And
what were you doing on his album?
Singing. Yeah.
Amazing.
And so that's Raven.
Do you see this right here? Okay. Amazing.
And then Pauline is this career I started about 3 years ago. I started just creating as myself again. I mean, as Pauline, which is who I am. And I figured, at my age, nobody cares how old you are if you're composing music. So I'm just writing this beautiful music, and it's very theatrical, a little bit jazz. In fact, when my last album, not the last one, one before this, Colors of My Heart came out, they didn't know where to put me, so it actually debuted on the top 10 classical and jazz charts for Billboard. So
that's so exciting!
Yeah,
Congratulations!
thanks.
And is that the CDs that you brought for me? One of these? Okay, so I wanted to show everybody.
This one's Colors of My Heart.
Okay.
And this features the artwork on the front of this fantastic artist, Ford Krull, his name is, from New York. And I love it because Colors of My Heart was really, there's so many dimensions to love and to relationships. And so the music that I'm writing as Pauline Frechette is just right out of my heart. And it's, some of it has no lyrics and some have lyrics. And so that's why I called it that. And
some of them are just instrumentals?
yes. One features Stanley Clarke on bass, and another one features Stuart Cole on trumpet.
Cool.
And so it's gotten a lot of airplay. It's played in what's called in-store radio platforms. All my music is all over the world, actually, in about, I don't even know how many countries now. A year ago it was 80 countries, so I don't know how many it is now.
You mean like in the stores?
Yeah,
like...
it's called in-store platforms, and it's when if you go into a restaurant or store and you hear music, they have to be on a platform so that the artists get royalties. So like in the United States, I'm in Nordstrom and McDonald's and Whole Foods, and I don't know, there's a whole list of them, and all sorts of different like in Vegas at Caesar's Palace, and I don't know. They send me these lists of where it is, and then it's all sorts of weird countries. I mean, not weird, but countries I've never even heard of, as well as Europe, all different areas of Europe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, good. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Pauline Frechette, a.k.a. Raven Kane. And welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with musician, singer, Raven Kane, a.k.a. Pauline Frechette. Okay, so we were just talking about your albums, and one of them that I know you recently released was Pauline Frechette's Winter Romance.
Oh yes, it's very romantic, and I put it together for Christmas, for a winter release, because Christmas is so short. There's a wonderful video from it called Winter Wonderful, not Winter Wonderland, and it's an original composition that I did, that I added a little jingle bells to it and a little bit of Deck the Halls, so that it had a really delightful feeling to it, because I love Christmas, as I'm sure you do too, right?
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
Right?
It's a really fun time for sure, and there's special music obviously for that time period as well. So
that's right.
And so that is basically what this is Christmas music, you would say?
One song off of it, The Winter Wonderful, is definitely Christmas. The rest is any time of the year, because they're instrumentals that are just romantic. So it's perfect for Valentine's Day, actually.
Oh, good. Well, that's coming up.
Yes.
So, you know, when you're setting that special romantic scene at home, then you should definitely play one of these songs, right, for everybody.
Yeah, well, they could go to my website, paulinefrechette.com, and hear a lot of romantic music. I love romantic music.
That's cool.
My husband is a violinist, violist, very famous, actually, arranger for strings and orchestra, and so he always arranges my music, and so it's very...
Nice bonus there.
Yeah.
Right?
Very romantic, very romantic.
Well, you came from the background of playing violin, and you play piano, you play like all of these instruments that are all part of like the classic orchestral music. So that must be fun. Is that how you guys met?
It is, actually, yes. Yeah, he saw a Pauline Frechette video, and about a month later, I was Raven Kane, and he was like, I have to meet this person. So it was like, wait a minute. She was all pretty and sweet, and then there was like, and it was like who is that? Yeah, right. I was totally into it. It was so much fun. Because my background being the theater, I like to, ever since I was little, we'd do little shows in the garage and put on makeup, and it's just fun, you know. So I love the theater.
Yeah, I mean, you're creating different characters, kind of.
That's right. In fact, from the Winter Romance, there was two of the pieces on there that choreographer Erin Holt, who has California Dance Theater as her group, she choreographed two of the pieces. One's called Diamonds and one's called Starry Night, and they're beautiful dancers. And we're going to do a full-length ballet together. That'll be next Christmas. That'll be in a theater here in Glendale.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and also you told me there was a music video that went with one of these songs, right?
Oh, yes, Winter Wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's had a lot of airplay this past Christmas, and it was picked up on something like 54 platforms, they call them. So it's in a lot of countries and a lot of different, I think it was in Nordstrom's here and different, I don't know, all sorts of different places where they show videos.
Oh, right. Cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
She's like global, guys. And I still have so many questions for all the things that you've done. Because, I mean, obviously you've been doing music for so long and you have like so many cool stories to tell. And I only have like barely 20 minutes to get them. Okay, so we know about these recent albums, and then also you have a benefit that you were doing for the Ojai fires.
That's right.
I mean, there's obviously been fires going on in California, and it's crazy.
unbelievable.
It's horrible. I mean, we just had a band on the show. The lead singer lost his home in the Malibu fires.
Oh my goodness.
So it's it's definitely a problem. And I know, so you went out to do a benefit, and you have this thing. Why don't you tell everybody about that?
Actually, when the fires hit last year, they call them the Thomas fires. We have a home in Ojai, and I was at my piano, and my husband came in and he said, "Look over. We have a full, like, not 360, but 90-degree arc where we just look at mountains from our house. So on the mountains in the distance, we could see they were on fire. We just see you couldn't see the fire, you could just see the glow." And I said, my husband came in and he said, "There's fires have started in Santa Paula, which is not too far." He said, "And they've spread already from 50 acres to something like 1,000 or something in an hour." I said, "Oh my gosh, we better."
That's crazy.
He had to finish some music that he was doing, that he was flying to Nashville the next day to record. So he said, "Well, I have to finish this arrangement, and then I said we should leave tonight." So at 10 o'clock, he hit save, which when you're doing an orchestration, that's a lot of music. He hit save, and there was a blackout right after.
Oh.
Miraculous.
Jeez.
And I had already
call.
started writing a piece for the mountains that I called the Sacred Mountains of Ojai. I had about 8 bars written. So the lights all went out. There was a blackout after he had just saved the music, thank goodness. And I said, "We have to leave now." I said, we better leave now, because in the morning it's going to be pandemonium here. So we went down, we're up high, what's called Saddle Mountain in Oakview, which is right next to Ojai. And we're headed down, and everything's black. And all the way from Ventura down the 101 for 18 miles, it looked like somebody opened a furnace. You could just see the fire roaring all the way down. It's unbelievable. And it was blackout everywhere. We were the only ones on the road. It was like about midnight. So the next day, my husband flew to
Because it burned
Nashville.
all the electrical wiring and all
Everything.
that, so, right? Yeah.
So I wrote this song. The next day, my contractor at our house in Ojai said, "I wish I had better news, but the fires are right up to your back fence." So I said, "Okay." I said, "I'm turning off the news and everything." And I sat at my piano, tears going down my face, and wrote that piece, the Sacred Mountains of Ojai. I said, because it's very spiritual up there. And I said, "Okay, the being, whatever God or the spiritual beingness of these mountains, I'm writing this piece, and it's gonna be for you, and dedicated to these sacred mountains, and the proceeds are going to go to help people who've lost their homes, which might be us. We don't, we might please protect our home, protect our neighborhood." So actually, the flames roared up to our fence and went the other way. The firemen said it was like a miracle. It was like a wave. They came up to my fence and went that way.
What?
So if you went to my
Wow.
property and looked at this side, it's all black, and this side it was all green.
Crazy.
That's the power of the spiritual world. And so that's the piece that's being premiered at the New West Symphony, February 9th and 10th. And the artists from Ojai actually contributed their work in that they did during the fires, and it's part of the video that goes to the music. So that's this video called "The Sacred Mountains of Ojai."
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have to take another break.
Okay.
But we will be right back with Raven Kane, a.k.a. Pauline Frechette. Welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with Raven Kane, a.k.a. Pauline Frechette. Oh my God, so many things we have to talk about. But you're just telling me about the benefit concert that's coming up. Do you want to just let everybody know where that is and when for the fires, the Ojai fires?
It's the world premiere of my music called "The Sacred Mountains of Ojai," and a second piece called "Reflections," sung for Michael. It's the world premiere for the New West Symphony. Are performing those two pieces, and any money that I make from the Sacred Mountains of Ojai is going to help those who've lost homes from these fires. It's actually February 9th and 10th, and it's called The Romantics. That's the weekend that they're doing.
Perfect for Valentine's Day.
Yes, and it's at the Thousand Oaks Plaza on the 9th, and on the 10th it's in Oxnard at the Performing Arts Center. So
very cool. Make sure you check it out, and if you need to find out anything else, you can always go and check out your website and social media.
That's right.
Under Pauline Frechette.
That's right.
Okay, good. Cool. Okay, well, that's exciting. I think it's fantastic that you're doing that to help everybody.
Yeah.
And that you're magical and you stopped your house from catching on fire. If you were watching the show, everyone, on the last segment, you'll know this wild story. So
It actually worked.
it's the power of music.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So now let's talk more about some of the tours and other songs that you've sung with other people, because it's just amazing. I can't believe how much you've done already. You know, like Willie Nelson. You sang with Willie Nelson.
He was a lot of fun. I like Willie. He's like one of the most genuine people. Well, actually, I've discovered that at the top of the food chain, all these really powerful artists that I've spent a lot of time with.
Yeah.
Bono's another one. They're so.
Oh, just Bono.
They're so down to earth and considerate and just like Willie. We were in New York City. I was singing backup for him. Well, there were 4 of us. We sang tight jazz harmonies. He did an album called The Healing Hands of Time. His roots, by the way, are jazz, are the American songbook kind of songs, and in the 40s with his sister. And so my husband orchestrated these songs for him, and he sang them live with the orchestra at Capitol, actually in the same studio where I did my album. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I sang backup for him these tight jazz harmonies. And we were at a restaurant, Elaine's in New York. And leaving, there's all these people wanting to say hello to Willie. And he would stand and talk to a person as long as they wanted to talk to him. It took us like 2 hours to get out of that restaurant. And it's a small restaurant. He's just so genuine, just such a good example of. Another one is Neil Diamond, who I toured and was his duet partner.
Wow.
So considerate and just kind.
What songs did you sing with him?
You Don't Bring Me Flowers and You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
Whoa.
Those duets every night. So yeah, those are on iTunes.
Amazing.
You can get those, yeah. And his what's it called? Live Across America or Live in America, something like that.
That is so. How fun.
And I did his Christmas albums with him, and also the Brill Building years, or whatever it's called. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that the people who are really successful, most of the people who are really successful artists are actually really, really cool. Like
Yeah.
they're really nice people that are very friendly and treat everybody so well. And I think that's why they do so well, is because they really are actually really kind, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure there's probably like a small percentage of people who are just like cutthroat and they get there by screwing people over. But those people I don't think last long because...
No, not really.
Yeah.
They don't. You can't.
Yeah,
you have
'cause
to
it
really.
just gets around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they're just brilliant. These people at the top there. But I think that it takes a lot of persistence for anybody watching this, and you're an artist. You just have to know that it takes a lot of hard work. You have to actually practice and really. It's not enough to just have talent. It just isn't. You have to cultivate the talent, and you have to really work it so that you can be the best that you can possibly be. And if you're really into it, you have to be into the journey, or don't do it. I mean, I've lived my life. I mean, I've had so many different roads that I've done, because I also was an actress early on, and I've loved everything I do. I love the theater, you know, and so
It's all performance.
yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, now I perform. One of your assistants was asking me about my performing. I've spent my whole life performing, and now I'm doing home concerts, which are really fun. I do concerts in my home. You pay and you come, and in Ojai, because we have a home that has high ceilings, and I have a beautiful big grand piano, and it's very personable because I like to tell stories. I consider myself a 21st century troubadour. Now, what a troubadour is, it's someone who'd go from place to place and tell stories and sing songs. So that's kind of what I do. So I'll tell different stories, and I'll write something knowing whoever the audience is going to be, and I'll write it specifically to include them in something. Like I do a song called Who Needs Beauty, and I wrote it because I wanted to have something that included my audience. So there's a rap section in the whole middle of it.
And you do the rap?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I rap out this whole thing of what I think is beautiful, and then the middle, and I tell the audience before we start, I say, underneath your chair is a pencil and a piece of paper, and I want you to write down 2 things that you think are really beautiful to you, that makes you smile when you think of them. So you see them all thinking, and they're writing things down, and I say, okay, now, the middle of this is going to be a rap, and I'm going to be rapping out all the things I think are beautiful. Then I say, now you, and you got to shout out, you raise your hand if you want me to point to you, and you'll say what you think is beautiful. And if you don't raise your hand, I'm just going to start calling people, So it's really kind of cute, because first they're kind of shy, then everybody wants to say what they think is beautiful, and It's great. It makes people feel good to think about what makes them happy, you know?
That's what music is all about.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. We have to take another break.
Okay.
But we will be right back with the musician, Raven Kane, Pauline Frechette. Welcome back to the Red Booth Show. I'm here with musician extraordinaire / singer / grand piano player. I mean, the list goes on, right? Pauline Frechette and Raven Kane, who's a rock and roll singer as well. So this is just amazing that you're here. I'm so happy to have you on the show. And I know we have some cool clips of some of your songs that I also wanted to show people as well. You have a new song that you wanted everybody to see.
Yeah. Well, there's if you go to YouTube and just put in Pauline Frechette, you can see a lot of videos. If you want romantic videos, anybody watching this, just go check them out. I was just thinking of these funny stories about there's this. Everybody says, "Oh, you're a rock singer, or you what kind of singer are you?" If you're a singer, you're a singer, and then you have a choice of what kind of songs you want to sing. So
that's a good point, because people usually expect you to just be one style, right? And if you're an artist, you can do every style. You can do anything, really. Well,
actually, I mastered the voice, and I started teaching singing when I was in the probably 80s, when I was living in New York, and I had a friend who couldn't sing at all, and she was really bad. So I figured out.
I won't say her name, though.
I took apart the voice to figure out how it worked as an instrument, and so I took her like my Pygmalion, like My Fair Lady, there's somebody who really can't sing, and I started to work with her, and 2 years later she was singing and dancing behind Gloria Gaynor. So
wow.
So she sent me other hopeless cases, and so I really learned that you can sing any way. It's if when you really know how to, you wouldn't say, "Are you a jazz pianist?" Well, you could say, "Are you a jazz pianist?" Well, yeah, I'm a pianist and I play jazz. You see what I mean?
Right.
If you're a pianist, you know how to play piano. Then
Right.
it's what style do you want to do?
Right.
So Raven Kane would do rock. Like I could do you're talking about screaming rock, or or hard rock, or.
You could do a screaming rock?
Oh yeah.
Can you do a scream rock for me?
Oh yeah.
Do it! I love it. So that echoed, you guys. We're in this giant space. It's so cool.
But you see, it's very similar to opera. So I could hit the same note. You see, it's opera, right? You're right.
I suck compared to
that.
that.
So actually, I was the scream coach for Evil Dead the musical on Broadway.
What?
I had to teach these because they're all losing their voices. So the producer had heard about me, and he brought me in to teach them how to pulling themselves across the floor, screaming, and so they wouldn't lose their voice. So it was very funny teaching them. You'd hear people go, "Ah!" I'm teaching them so they didn't lose their voice.
That happens to a lot of rockers, doesn't it? When they're playing, they're screaming and they're singing
and they
so
lose
much,
their voice.
and they lose their voice.
Yeah.
How do you not lose your voice?
Well, you have to know how to do it so that you don't lose your voice. Like I'm classically trained, and I know how to use that's a whole program in itself, as to how to sing properly and use the proper muscles, then so you don't come from your throat, you come from the proper area, which is very, very deep in your groin.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It is. Well, think about it, because here's your rib cage, right? And these are your lungs here, right? And then underneath your lungs is a diaphragm. And then attached to that is your stomach muscles, and attached to that are your groin muscles. So if you're going to scream, you're going to come press on your stomach really low, right? And you go, "Hey!" Do that.
Hey!
You see, you feel it? You can feel them push, right?
Yeah.
That's the basis of your screaming.
I think we just maxed out our microphones.
So there you go. And then you go on my website.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I should put out my tech in some form so you all could learn it. But anyway, yes, I like teaching. I don't teach anymore very much because I don't have time. But
what was your favorite song that you've sung with one of these amazing artists? I mean, you have Paul McCartney coming out.
Yeah.
What?
Favorite song? Actually, I think probably my favorite was those duets with Neil, because that took a lot of. In fact, I was in a Barbra Streisand recording session actually pretty recently. My husband was doing some string arrangements for her, and I met
her husband's David Campbell, by the way.
Yeah, my husband, not Barbra Streisand's husband.
Right. Yeah. So if you know anything about the music industry, then you might have heard of him, because he's like a gold
platinum
albums that he's arranged.
Yeah, and 3 Oscars and I don't know how many Grammys that he's arranged this.
We don't even know how many Grammys.
No,
So
it's in the 50s, I think.
that's crazy.
But
anyway.
Yeah, and his son is Beck. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Musical family.
The music family.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I was working with I wasn't working with her. David was working with, but I was at the session with Streisand, and she said, "Oh yeah, you're the one who sang my duet part, the duets with Neil." I said, "Yeah." So I'm a big fan of hers. So it was really fun to sing those, and because you have to really control your voice really well.
They're difficult ones too.
Yeah, to have that, if you go, you don't bring me flowers, you don't, it goes way down, you don't bring me love songs. I don't know the lyrics anymore. Anyway, it's a really rangy songs, which I liked.
Amazing. That's so cool. You could just do it, just sitting there in the booth. No big
deal. It wasn't very good, but
better than like most of the population. Yeah. And so okay, so you have something with Paul McCartney coming out. What is that?
Well, this is his current album. It's out already.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just singing on it, background. That's all.
Is it just?
But it was a cool session because it was in a church. It was part of a choir. There were 12 of us, I think. And
how did he pick you?
well, he didn't. I don't think he picked me particularly. There's like 12 of us. I've sung with him before, and David does his arrangements. So.
That's so cool.
There you go.
Wow. Well, I'm just amazed to have you on the show, and I hope everybody goes and checks it out. And I grew up with listening to Vivaldi and like all these orchestral music that my dad used to always play.
Oh, yeah.
And so I really love classical music as well, and I think jazz is so cool.
Yeah.
So I think it's great to have such a big range, and as an artist, you have such a huge range.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. It's amazing. So anyway, we are just wrapping it up here, but thank you for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is great, and I love the red booth.
Thank you.